Welcome to Grad School Life by PhD Balance, where we speak to graduate students about the behind-the-scenes day-to-day life in their programs. I'm your host, Courtney Applewhite. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Religious Studies at the University of California, Santa Barbara, studying death. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on your chosen platform to get notifications about new episodes. And if you've been enjoying the show, leave us a review. It helps potential and current graduate students hear about us and learn more about a day in our lives. Today, I'm joined by Ritwik Kulkarni. Ritwik is a second-year PhD student in mechanical engineering at Purdue University in West Lafayette. Do you ever wonder why your laptop uses fans quite often to cool them down? It's because the heat carrier, called thermal interface materials, starts degrading and often dries out. Ritwik's research comprises of reliability analyses of these materials, understanding their patterns and developing mitigation strategies to extend their life cycle. In addition to the applied projects, he is also experimenting with the effects of rotation and thermal transport in dense suspensions that are fundamental in nature. He received his Bachelor of Technology in 2019 from the Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur, Master of Science in 2021 from Texas A&M University College Station, both majoring in mechanical engineering.
Thanks, Courtney, for the amazing introduction. It really made me feel warm into the show.
Yeah. And, I love the way that you framed your research project, because I think it's a great introduction for a lay person or somebody who's not in your field to understand what you're dealing with, which I think is so critical when we're talking about communicating our research to other people.
Yeah, and I guess I got the first learning into research when I remember when I was in my undergrad in my sophomore year. We had a professor come down, and then the professor was explaining the research. And in the end, we were all kind of not relating to it because we were sophomore students. And that's when she addressed the elephant in the room. If I can't explain my research to you guys or even a kid, then I don't succeed as a researcher. And that quite hit me, because you are doing stuff, but you also have the responsibility to make sure you explain that to everyone. So yeah, that was a motivation.
Yeah, I think that you've nailed it. I think that I really have a sense of where your research is at. And then from there, you can obviously go into the more technical things as needed. And I think that that's the perfect way to introduce it, because even people who are experts enjoy an introduction to the topic, right? In order to situate your research within the wider world.
Yes.
So I like to start the show off by asking, what is something that you do on a daily basis that gives your PhD life balance?
So I guess the strive is always to achieve the balance. Never really reached a balance, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just tipping to one side or the other. Either you try to level up your personal progress or your professional. So the journey is kind of going towards the balance and not. Okay, I don't know if balance is really essential for me, but striving towards it is something exciting, because probably you feel the sense of a void when you focus on something too much. And that's probably a reminder for you to just step back, look at different perspectives, look in different areas where you're lacking, and then try to incorporate that into your daily plan of action. So yeah, I think the strive that matters. But apart from that, getting a balance is something I think we should aim for. But I don't know if we can really achieve a balance. We'll always find something that is not done according to us. So.
Totally. I think that you're exactly right to sort of complicate the notion of balance and what that means. I think people are becoming more aware that the idea of a work-life balance isn't exactly right, because exactly as you say, there are going to be moments where your work has to take priority. There are going to be moments where your personal life has to take priority. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And
I have a small story with this.
Yeah.
So when I was doing my master's, I was interacting with other grad students because I was applying for PhD, so getting their perspectives and what is their way, which way did they find to be the best one for their journey. So I had one of the students who used to be in the lab, not forcefully, but he loved working. So he used to come around the lab, and I think he used to go home only for, I think, during the nights. I don't remember. Sometimes he used to be in the lab early in the morning at 6 a.m. and I was like, wow. So I did find inspiration from him, like to be focused in what you do. But I also find some other person who has made some demarcations, like I'll join the lab at 8 a.m. and I'll go home at 5. And for him, probably the most important thing is maintaining that boundaries so that you can focus on both aspects, the personal and the professional. So I was confused, like which one should I go for? And I think the essence lies in what works best for you. So I have a few friends who love to be in the lab 24 hours, but not necessarily it has to be that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, just wanted to add that point.
No, I think that's great, and actually leads into the next question, which is why did you decide to apply to grad school? And it sounds, and the other part of the question is, what did you think it would be like? But it sounds like you sort of had a few different perspectives that when you were going into the application process.
Yes. And that was quite, I would say, applying for my master's was a little bit simple because I knew I needed some additional knowledge before going into the industry.
Mhm.
So it was quite a clear decision right from the end of my sophomore year. So it wasn't challenging. It's just deciding the universities and the giving of the exams. But deciding for PhD was really tough because it's a long journey. Getting into it, probably you may not get out that easily, or you won't be the same person after you complete your PhD. And I've heard worse stories of people going in and then they don't remain, I would say, human after coming out of the PhD program. So, and it's committing 4 to 5 years of your life probably. So, and also, I mean, I don't want to bring this in, but it's about the mention that you'll always feel left out when you see amongst your friends. Your friends are doing amazing in their job careers, and then you're there probably just being in the lab, and then it's experiments, so things fail, and then you're frustrated, angry, and but still you got to move in. So, so yeah, regarding doing for the PhD uh, took almost about a year to decide, and the more perspectives you have, the more confusing it becomes because you need to figure out what works best for you. So you don't really know what works best for you unless you try it. So that was a little bit of a confusing journey for me. And yeah, I would try to detail it as much as possible so it becomes simple for others to venture. But yeah, I guess everyone has to go through that path. And then I was like, okay, let's
Yeah.
see.
And so what made you decide? So you kind of gathered these different perspectives and you were deciding. So why did you ultimately decide to go get the PhD? What was the deciding factor for you?
So part of this came from my journey in my master's, in which I was kind of building an experimental setup and then also run the setup and then get the experiments. And that was my thesis. Um, I mean, not the entire thesis, but the gist of it. So I think what really, I do remember a time when the experiments were failing and then my advisor was just, I could see the enthusiasm of my advice just dying down,
Mm.
and I felt that probably I should give it a try. And then I had to motivate myself. Just get out of the bed and just go to the lab. Let's do it once. You just need once for the results to click in. Then you'll find the motivation. And that quite humbled me down. And also, I realized the importance of breaking down things so that they are simple. uh, when you think of a few things, the more simple it becomes, the more confident you are, and then the progress seems reasonable. So it wasn't a good journey. It was a painful one, but I think I needed that because I learned a few skills, not only professional skills like what you go through research, but also getting to know how to manage yourself in tough times, figuring out what works best for you, and then what are the days that you should step back, and how do you gauge that those are the days that you need only for yourself. So kind of prioritizing mental health in that journey, and also trying to maintain a balance between your physical health, your mental health. I'm a little bit into spirituality, so I also find that I mean, I need to work on that too. So I thought if I go into the industry, since I had interned also in my master's, I found a level of comfort in that, and that actually came at a cost of my growth actually. So I couldn't find myself growing in any aspects. And that's something I enjoy because you have the comfort in the world. But if you don't have a growth, I think that comfort is always short-lived. It won't last forever. So, and that made the decision a little bit easy that I should be getting PhD because that's where it's like a rugged terrain. You feel great after going through the terrain. So, but again, you'll fall, probably you'll have injuries, but then it's fine. As long as you reached the end point, everything's okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you sustain a few bumps and bruises along the way, but it's all part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
And so now that you're at this point in your PhD, what does your day-to-day actually look like?
So I was a night owl previously, but I'm now becoming more of a morning person.
Mhm.
So I get up at 6, then I have my to-do list. So I use Microsoft To Do, and then I just prioritize my tasks. And then once I know what I have for the day, I just check my schedule. So this came a hard way that maintaining a schedule really works. And not only maintaining a schedule, you have to just look into it, update it every single time. So I wasn't aware of that. So yeah, now now I'm trying to maintain it. Take a look at the schedule, get to know what's important for the day, and then trying to do. I mean, just go for workout, come back, try some meditation so that it clears your head. And I would say meditation helps you realize which emotions you're going through, yeah, probably from yesterday or the past week or anything. It helps to not react and put you on a trigger mode every single time. So after meditation, have my breakfast, come to the lab, put out some experiments, and most of the experiments that we do take about 2 to 3 hours. So it also provides a good time for us to reply back to emails or put out a few things for purchase or brainstorm on a new idea. And then, so right now I mean, our lab is distributed in 3 different locations. So I usually bounce from one location to the other. So yeah, or the half of the day I'm in one, second half I'm in the other. So go about through the lab process. There's usually some writing part. And that's where I realize I procrastinate a lot when it comes to writing. But yeah, pro tip, not pro tip actually, it's rather my experience working in the community tab on Discord on PhD Balance really helps. So you have really good group of people always pulling in and then helping you out, at least helping you do the stuff.
Yeah.
They won't do it for you, but they'll always be with you while
Mhm.
you're doing it. So that was helpful. And then so writing part, usually I do it at the midday because it doesn't require much energy, but I can't work on it at a low energy too. So middle of the day is fine.
Yeah.
And then I come back, usually read something. I have this guilty pleasure of watching TV series that I know I shouldn't be because if I do, then I'm going to binge it. So try to reason it out. And then the best way to reason it out is not reason it out. It's just like pull yourself out and then you just go with it. And then in the end of the day, I just cook dinner with my roommate. And yeah, I'm trying to maintain a gratitude journal, but I've not been able to till now. So yeah, as I said, balance. So you strive for the balance, you'll never achieve it. So not achieved it yet. So yeah, and then I sleep by 10 or 11. That's the end of the day.
Yeah, that's great. And so you've sort of fallen into the camp where you do kind of have work hours where you dedicate those particular hours to work, and then you do your personal and spiritual development sort of outside of those work hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And there's so many things that I want to highlight there. So thank you for giving the shout out to the Discord. I've also done some of that co-working, and I think it is nice to just have
Oh,
so
yes.
yeah, for those of you that don't know, we do have a PhD Balance Discord channel, and one of them is co-working. And so you can get on a group kind of like chat that you can just tell people what you're doing, and they'll hold you accountable, and it's just some time that people can co-work together. So if that's something that you're interested in, we do offer that on the Discord. So that's a super fun group. Although I will say that I can't write in the afternoon. I just find myself to be too tired. So I always have to write like either in the morning or in the evening. But the afternoon is it's a low time for me. That's my meeting time. So it's different for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it sounds like you have a few different phases to your day. And can I also ask, I'm curious about this, how many people do you tend to interact with during the day? Is your lab a pretty busy place, or is it a fairly solo place?
I would say a mix of both because we have a few lab members who are working solo
Mm,
and a few of us who are working together. So even if you're working together, you still go solo on your experiments. So I would say um, in a day, I would meet around like 4 or 5 people. I know it's way less, but I think that's the average in a grad school,
yeah,
even lower, I think.
yeah.
So yeah,
So it's not a huge environment, but there are a few people there if you like want to have a chat or something like that to just kind of break the day up.
yeah.
Yeah, great. And so do you have days that don't look like that? What are your outlier days, or what are the days that don't look like that look like?
Uh, I would say those days are the days when I don't I mean there's some disruption probably a week prior or a day prior. So probably it's probably someone suggesting or something for the project that didn't go well or that doesn't line up with our vision, or something that I wanted to work on but I haven't been able to, or probably something that really upsets. Probably it's me who's upsetting my own goals. Like I don't follow my goals some of the time, and then I just realize it's been nearly 2 months. You need to work on this, and yeah. So those are the days, and even a few days where I don't know. I just don't feel like going into the lab. And previously, I mean, when I say previously, it's about 2 years back. I never recognized those emotions. I was like, I just used to say I'm lazy. I don't want to go to the lab. So let's just go and go to the lab. But then now I realize it's not about, probably it can be laziness, but I started to figure it out. And then it may be a day for your body to just relax, for your mind to relax. If you don't give the needed time for your mind to relax, it's gonna find its own way, and probably you won't like it. It's in the middle of a busy week. So I realized that probably I should be giving one day just to wind down, do what I want to do. Probably is just reading a few books or just like laying around, just walking, talking to a few people. So this is pretty interesting. So I usually take the bus when I commute from my home to the lab, and we have this amazing bus driver. Shout out to him. His name is Mike. So he is uh, he is a very friendly guy. And if you come down to Purdue and you say that name, anyone's going to recognize that guy. So usually the bus ride is about 20-25 minutes, and when he's in the bus, I just talk to him,
Mm,
and he's a very friendly guy. So that makes my day because at the end of the day, you need someone to talk to, and that's amazing. And he tells about his life, and I just tell about what's happening here and everything. So that's important. Maybe sometime you're not tired. You just need to vent out some emotions, or you just need to release them. And yeah, crying can also be one of that. So some people think crying is something that is, I mean, you should suppress, or it's not the right environment for you to cry. True. I mean, you can't cry. I mean, you can cry in a lab, but it's best that you do it in your home. So yeah, so those are the things where you just realize what's going within you, and you do your best to make sure you give some time for your mind and for your body, so that it tries to like release the stress that's happening for over a week. And yeah, those are some of the days that I've realized. And some when I'm trying to figure it out more, because there are some days where I just don't want to go to the lab, and I'm like, bro, you don't even have this. You're not even sad, you're not even happy, you're not even confused, so what's up? And then I don't know, it doesn't I don't feel like going, and I was like, okay, no props, we'll just stay back.
yeah. No, I think that that's amazing because I think as grad students, there is so much guilt associated with not working all the time. So having those moments of reflection where you really like get into not only like just examining that emotion, not wanting to go, like, is there something that I need? Is there something I need to do? Or maybe you just need a break because your brain does need space away from a problem to solve it, right? So if you're going to lab and just bashing your head against the same experiment over and over again, it's not going to be as productive as maybe taking a step away, like it sounds like, and you sort of interrogating that problem from a distance, and or like even not actively, just it simmers on the back of your mind.
That's so true. And the toughest part is taking the step back because you're so convinced that efforts really pave away the results. But even taking a step back is an effort, and probably getting a new perspective can also help. I think making that conversation with your mind that, okay, it's okay if I take a step back, nothing's going to go wrong. I know you have been slogging at it for about like 14 days, but it's fine. So making your mind convinced that is probably the most challenging part. Your mind wouldn't be convinced because it has been working on it since a long time. So I think, but that's the first step, to convince your mind that, okay, it's okay. Let's just take a half a day off and then we'll come back tomorrow.
Yes.
I think it can begin from that.
Yeah, and if you do that before you go through a full blown like meltdown or full blown burnout, then it can sort of help stave that off. Then you don't have like weeks and weeks that you can't string together. You take a day, get your head on straight, and then you can come back to the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. And one of your comments about crying made me think, I saw a text post that was like, it was something like, all these people out here doing your own research about topics. Like, how did you do it so fast? Did you even cry? Like, just sort of making a commentary about people who are like, oh yeah, I did research on this topic. And they're like, did you even cry about it? So crying, let's normalize crying in our research because it happens.
I think it's better to cry every day because I was looking at one video. So the video tries to explain why don't we cry right now, but why we used to cry when we were babies.
Mm-hmm.
And the video puts out that we were the most intelligent form when we were babies. Right now, we know how to hide things up. So when we were kind of kids, we acknowledged that there is a problem that we cannot solve. So probably crying can help relieve all of the preconceptions, your ideas, and the bigger problem that's in your mind. So it tries to relieve that, and there lies probably a silver lining. So you might probably get another idea after crying. Okay, so if this doesn't work, I think that might. And I think that's where crying kind of like helps you acknowledge that there is a problem that's bigger than you. And you just need to acknowledge that and then just release all your emotions, your thoughts, probably your own mind putting you down, pushing you down. You just have to release that, and then there'll be a small thought that might occur just after crying, and that might be helpful.
Yeah, crying is self-care. Crying is balance. Crying allows us to solve important PhD problems. I'm for it. I love this messaging.
Yep. That's going to be in my acknowledgements.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Thesis.
That's right. Yeah, your acknowledgements portion where you say, I would like to thank myself for allowing myself to cry every day because my tears were both instructive and healing.
Yep, they are.
Totally. Well, what do you want to do next? What is your next step in your program, or what are you thinking about after the PhD?
So after the PhD, I really want to get into the industry, trying to understand how does the process occur. So it's kind of dependent on which type of industry you're working in. I'm going to go into the semiconductor ones where the process, the thought ideas, everything matters. And probably 5 years after down the line, I'm planning to open a startup. I'm not sure which location, to be honest, but I have a problem statement in mind. I'm just trying to get more clarity, getting to know where the industry is at, and then hopefully network my way through. So
yeah,
I'm not sure right now. But that's
yeah,
the plan.
no. Well, with that in mind, where can our listeners find you if they want to connect or about your work or about your future plans?
So I'm trying to make a personal website, which I have not, thanks to my procrastination. But yeah, definitely Instagram is one of those. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out on that. LinkedIn is another one. I mean, these are all social handles, but yeah, that's what I have right now. So yeah, those are the places where you can reach out. And if there's a place that we can network, I'm free and I'm open for it.
Yeah, excellent. Well, we'll link those in the show notes so people can find you, and on all the social media platforms. Whenever we release the episode, there'll be a link to your Instagram bio and all of that. So I hope that if anyone is interested, they will definitely reach out to you and learn a little bit more about what your plans are.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciated this talk, and thank you for sharing a day in your life with us.
Sure. Thank you so much, Courtney. It was a
And
pleasure.
thank you. And thanks to everyone joining us. This has been Grad School Life by PhD Balance. Episodes of Grad School Life are posted on Thursdays, and Grad Chat episodes are posted Saturdays on wherever you find your podcasts and on our YouTube channel. For more information about Grad School Life by PhD Balance, you can check out our website, phdbalance.com, or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PhD_balance. As mentioned by Ritwik, you can also join our Discord channel. So please go to our website to find more information about that. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm at CAppleWhiteX on Twitter and Instagram. If you would like to be a guest on Grad School Life, please check out the link tree on all of our social media platforms. We are now scheduling people, so please reach out if you'd like to be on the show. Until next time, bye y'all, and take care of yourselves.